China declares war on Bitcoin. Their reason? Not what you'd expect. The Chinese Communist Party has found something new to declare war on. This time, it's crypto mining, stirring wider fear into a porridge of peril. This is a big deal for Bitcoin, which is the most popular cryptocurrency. That's because China accounts for around 65% of all Bitcoin mining globally. In comparison, the United States accounts for 7.2%. I'll explain why that is in a bit. But the Chinese Communist Party is not a fan of Bitcoin. Bitcoin are created and moved around not by a central bank or financial institution, but by a broad and disparate network of computers on what's called a blockchain. Bitcoin operates entirely outside of China's central bank or Communist Party control. It gives Chinese people a way to use money completely free from oversight by the government. So if you're, say, a Chinese dissident, the Communist Party can make the bank freeze your savings account, but they can't freeze your Bitcoin assets. But that's not why the Communist Party is cracking down on Bitcoin mining. No. It's cracking down because the Communist Party wants to save the environment. China has declared war on crypto mining in order to help the environment, you see. You might be thinking, what? Well, it makes total sense. Simply put, Bitcoin mining is a process where people can run powerful computers to solve complex math problems that validate Bitcoin transactions. They're rewarded with Bitcoins. This is how new Bitcoins are created. And the computers doing that Bitcoin mining requires a huge amount of energy, more than entire countries like Ukraine and Argentina. And as I said, China makes up about 65% of all Bitcoin mining globally. And the Chinese region of Inner Mongolia alone accounts for about 8% due to its cheap energy, which is why Inner Mongolia is not only banning Bitcoin mining, but also banning any new digital coin projects. You see, Chinese leader Xi Jinping promised the UN that China will be carbon neutral within 4 decades. You can make that kind of long-term promise when you have the power to rule indefinitely. But becoming carbon neutral is going to be tough, considering China burns more coal than the rest of the world combined. So yeah, Xi could have reined in the number of new coal plants they're building, but banning Bitcoin mining instead, that just makes so much more sense, for purely environmental reasons. A few weeks ago, China's top economic planner released this statement blasting Inner Mongolia not meeting energy targets. So they had to ban Bitcoin mining for the environment. This has led to a surge in the price of Bitcoin. So you can see, the Chinese Communist Party has nothing at all against Bitcoin or other cryptocurrency. In fact, they love the idea so much, the party wants to make its own digital currency. So I wouldn't want you to think the Chinese Communist Party has something against Bitcoin. Sure, they declared war on Bitcoin mining, and in 2017 they banned cryptocurrency exchanges. For the environment? But as the New York Times recently reported, China is charging ahead with a national digital currency called the e-Chinese yuan. China's central bank began testing it in 4 cities last year. And now, it's being brought to bigger cities like Shanghai and Beijing.
In my hand is a new digital renminbi. It's held inside a digital wallet on an app on my phone.
Held by Mao Zedong, who's watching you from the grave. But China's digital currency is like the anti-Bitcoin. Because while Bitcoin uses blockchain technology that keeps transactions anonymous, China's digital currency does not do that. In fact, Chinese authorities can see every transaction you make with the digital yuan. China's digital currency is not actually a cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrencies, by definition, use a decentralized system to record transactions. That keeps the records from being manipulated. But China's digital currency uses a centralized system. It's controlled by the Chinese central bank, and so ultimately, by the Chinese Communist Party itself. But it feels kinda like a cryptocurrency, so it's the same thing, right? The digital yuan could give the Chinese government more power to monitor finance flows, because a digital currency system can record every transaction. It can make it easier for governments to track financial transactions, to stamp out tax evasion, and crack down on dissidents. Those two things definitely belong in the same sentence. And believe it or not, it gets better. It will give the central bank new powers, including novel types of monetary policy to help the economy grow. In one possibility that economists have discussed, a central bank could program its digital currency to slowly lose value so that consumers are encouraged to spend it immediately. Great! I hate wasting all my money on savings. Well, gosh, how long until we can have that in the United States? A bunch of countries are experimenting with a national digital currency, yet no major power is as far along as China. Its early moves could signal where the rest of the world goes with digital currencies. The New York Times always manages to fill me with hope. You know, the Chinese Communist Party for years has been trying to weaponize its currency and defeat the US dollar. And now, some say the digital yuan could help. But will the yuan be able to defeat the dollar as the global currency? That's a whole nother episode.